The world is divided, but not in the way you've been led to believe. It is not a division between the good and the evil, the lucky and the unlucky, the hardworking and the lazy. The fundamental fracture, the one that dictates the flow of money, respect, opportunity, and power, is simpler and more brutal. It is the division between the players and the pieces. You have felt this truth in your bones your entire life, a quiet, screaming hum in the background of every interaction. You walk into a room and you feel the atmosphere absorb you, rendering you spectral, invisible. You watch as others, not always smarter, not always kinder, not always more competent, command the gravity of the space without uttering a word. They get the introductions, the promotions, the investments, the deference. They move through the world with an assumed authority that seems preordained. And you? You work harder. You polish your skills. You say please and thank you. You deliver ahead of deadline. You swallow your pride. You hope your goodness will be a beacon. Yet, you are bypassed, overlooked. Your ideas are borrowed without credit. Your presence is tolerated but not sought. Your talent is acknowledged but never leveraged. You are left in the quiet aftermath of rejection, wondering the agonizing question, why is my best not enough? Here is the brutal truth. The one society is too polite, too invested in the fairy tale of meritocracy, to ever tell you. Power does not care about your intentions. It only cares about your leverage. You have been attempting to connect with power from a position of emotional beggary. You've tried to be a friend, a supporter, a loyal follower. But powerful people do not need more friends. They need assets. They need mirrors. They need protection and solutions. Friendship is a luxury of equals, or a distraction for the already victorious. To enter the circles where the real decisions are made, where futures are drafted in whispers over expensive liquor, where careers are made with a single nod, you must perform a radical act of psychological surgery. You have to kill the part of you that seeks validation from the very systems you wish to master. You must stop asking for permission to exist in their realm. Over 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote The Prince. It was not, as common interpretation would have it, a guide for the wicked. It was a manual for reality, a clear-eyed dissection of human nature stripped of sentimental pretense. He understood what you are now beginning to see, that human nature, at its core, in the boardroom as in the palace, is driven by self-interest, fear, and vanity. To ignore these engines is to condemn yourself to permanent pawnhood. To master them is to become the hand that moves the pieces on the board. What follows is not inspiration. It is not motivational fluff. It is armament. In the next few minutes, we will systematically dismantle the comforting lies you've been told about networking, about being yourself, about earning your way through earnest effort. We will explore Machiavelli's 13 ruthless laws of connection. These are not tips for a better LinkedIn profile. They are psychological weapons, forged in the fire of centuries of political and social maneuvering. By the end, you will no longer look at a powerful person and see an unattainable superior. You will see a complex, fragile puzzle of drives and insecurities, and you will hold the only key that solves it. But a warning must be issued, a point of no return marked. Once you see the strings that move the puppets, you can never again go back to being one. The innocence is gone. The choice then becomes whether you will remain a spectator of your own life, or step onto the stage and take up the strings yourself. The foundation, from beggar to strategist. Most people fail at connecting with power because they approach it with an open hand, palm upward, begging for a favor. They believe the myth that connection is about being yourself. That is a lethal lie. Being yourself is a luxury afforded only to those who already have power. They have earned the right to their idiosyncrasies. For those climbing the mountain, connection is about strategic adaptation. It is the art of becoming, with seamless precision, exactly what the other person needs to see, until you are so embedded in the architecture of their world that removing you would cause the structure to groan. This immediately raises a moral and existential question. How do you do this without losing your soul? How do you navigate the perception of the elite without becoming a sycophant, a hollow echo? The answer lies not in abandoning your core, but in understanding a profound psychological concept: the void. The void is the space of mystery, self-containment, and unreadable potential. It is what you become when you stop projecting neediness and start projecting unshakable, quiet value. The void does not suck energy in, it attracts, because it is complete in itself. The 13 laws are the pathways to creating that void around you. They are the methods by which you shift from being a subject seeking approval to a sovereign offering alliance. Let us begin. Law 1. Never outshine the master. The first and most common error is the desperate attempt to impress. You finally get an audience with someone influential. Your ego, starved for recognition, grabs the wheel. You interject to show how much you know. You correct a minor error in their story. You talk about your own accomplishments, hoping they will see a kindred spirit of brilliance. You believe this demonstrates your worth and earns respect. It does the opposite. It breeds instant, often irreversible, insecurity. Understand this. Powerful people are frequently the most fragile. Their entire identity, their sense of worth and security, is often built upon being perceived as the smartest, the strongest, the most visionary person in any given room. Their authority depends on this perception. If you walk in and shine too brightly, you do not look like an asset. You look like a threat. You are a challenger to their throne, not a builder of it. Machiavelli warned of this centuries ago. It is always dangerous to appear better than your superiors. When you make your superior look bad, or even just lesser by comparison, you trigger a primal survival instinct. They will sideline you, not because you are incompetent, but because you are dangerous to their ego. Their logic is simple. A dim star is no threat to the sun. So what is the strategy? You must learn to dim your light to make theirs burn brighter. This is an act of supreme tactical intelligence, not of weakness. When you have a brilliant idea, find a way to frame it as an extension of their vision. That reminds me of what you said last month about X, which made me think we could ask insightful questions that lead them to articulate the solution you already have. Feed their vanity with sincere, specific praise about their acumen. This is your camouflage. By allowing them to feel securely superior, you lower their defenses. You are no longer a rival. You are a safe harbor, a loyal instrument. You become allowed inside the walls. And while they are busy admiring their own reflection in the pond of your deference, you are quietly observing the foundations of their kingdom, learning their weaknesses, mapping their patterns, identifying the true sources of their power. Let them have the applause, the credit, the glory. You are taking something far more valuable, unobserved influence and a secured position at their side. This is not about being a doormat. It is about being a ghost in the machine, unseen but essential. Your goal is not to be a bright flicker they extinguish, but a steady, indispensable glow they come to rely on. Law 2. Conceal your intentions. A predictable person is a controllable person. If I can read your desires like an open book, I know exactly what levers to pull to use you. An open book. I know exactly what levers to pull to use you. If I know you crave money, I can buy your compliance. If I know you thirst for recognition, I can flatter you into obedience. If I know you seek mentorship, I can dangle my attention like a carrot. Most people make the fatal error of wearing their ambitions on their sleeves. They approach powerful figures with eyes that scream, "I need something from you." This aura of desperation is the ultimate repellent to power. Desperation signals low value, and power is magnetically drawn to high value. To connect with power, you must become a cipher, an enigma wrapped in calm confidence. Machiavelli's adage, "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer," contains a deeper layer. Keep your intentions closer still. Be unreadable. When you enter a room or a conversation with a person of influence, do not reveal your endgame. In fact, talk about everything except business or what you want. Discuss art, philosophy, history, their obscure hobby, the intricacies of the wine you're drinking. Anything that humanizes the interaction and separates you from the parade of favor seekers. Make them wonder, why is this person here? What do they want? Mystery is a powerful form of social capital. It creates attraction and engagement. When they cannot easily categorize you or discern your motives, they become intrigued. The human mind abhors an unresolved puzzle. They will start to project their own narratives onto your blank slate. They may decide you are a hidden scion of wealth, a genius in disguise, or simply someone so content that you need nothing. This intrigue turns the tables. They begin to chase you, to invest energy in figuring you out. Never, ever show your cards until the pot is conclusively yours. Be friendly, open, and charming. But keep the core of your ambition, your ultimate objective, locked in a vault where no one can see it. The less they know about your true motives, the less leverage they have, and the more power you hold in the eventual, inevitable negotiation. Let them believe the interaction is their idea. Your silence is your shield, your mystery, your sword. Law 3. Appeal to self-interest, never to mercy. This is the law where the nice guys finish last, bewildered and empty-handed. You need a favor, an introduction, capital, a job. So you approach a powerful person and you present your case as a plea. You narrate your struggles, your hard work, your unfair circumstances. You appeal to their mercy, their kindness, their sense of fairness. You believe that because your cause is just and your character good, they will be moved to help. They may be moved. They may feel a pang of sympathy. They will then do absolutely nothing. Why? Because mercy is a burden. Appeals to charity are transactions where the powerful person pays with their resources and receives nothing but fleeting emotional satisfaction. Powerful individuals are busy. Their attention is the most contested real estate on the planet. They are bombarded daily by 100 worthy causes, 1,000 deserving individuals. If they helped everyone who deserved it, they would be bankrupt, exhausted, and powerless. Machiavelli famously stated that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. In the context of connection, this translates to a more pragmatic truth. It is better to be needed than liked. Do not ask for favors. Offer transactions, but disguise the transaction as an alliance, a partnership. Your entire approach must pivot. Before any meeting, your sole mission is to research. What does this person need? What keeps them up at night? Is it a rival gaining ground? A operational inefficiency bleeding money? A public perception problem? A pet project that's failing? Find their pain point. Then, position yourself not as a petitioner, but as the cure. Your language shifts from I need to I see. I see you're facing challenges with X. I have a background/idea/contact that can directly address that, which I believe could save you significant time/resources. Now, you are not a beggar at the gate. You are a potential ally bringing reinforcements to their battle. You have reframed the interaction from a charitable donation to a strategic investment. Self-interest is the only language spoken fluently in the halls of power. It is universal, unambiguous, and compelling. When you speak it, when you demonstrate an understanding that their world runs on the fuel of utility, you immediately separate yourself from the sentimental mob. You are talking business. And business opens doors that mercy knocks upon in vain. Law 4. The art of strategic absence. We live in a culture of pathetic overavailability. You respond to emails instantly. You accept every meeting invitation, no matter how trivial. You are perpetually on call, believing this signals dedication and reliability. In reality, it signals low value and a lack of priority. A fundamental economic law governs all human interaction. Scarcity creates value. If you are always available, you are common. If you are common, you are cheap. Your time is the ultimate currency of respect. Powerful people guard their time ferociously because it is the one resource they cannot truly buy more of. When you give your time away freely, without demand or schedule, you are broadcasting that it is worthless. Machiavelli observed that a prince seen too often becomes ordinary, his majesty diluted by familiarity. You must master the art of strategic withdrawal. Be intensely present, focused, and valuable when you are in the room. Make the other person feel like the sole focus of your universe for that hour. Then, disappear. Do not answer the call on the first ring. Do not be available for a quick coffee tomorrow. Have a life that appears full, a mission that is compelling, a schedule that does not orbit their star. This performs two critical psychological functions. First, it proves you are a person of inherent value with other demands, options, and a kingdom of your own to tend. You are not waiting by the phone. Second, it exploits the Zeigarnik effect, the psychological phenomenon where unfinished tasks or unresolved situations create mental tension and occupy more brain space. Your absence becomes an open loop in their mind. They wonder where you are, what important things you're doing, who else values your time. Your non-presence begins to take up real estate in their consciousness. When you do reappear, your presence is no longer an assumed obligation. It is a reward, a valued allocation of a scarce resource. Use absence not as neglect, but as a tool to stoke the fires of respect and desire. Make them miss you. Make them realize your time together is a privilege, not a given. Law 5. The mirror of Narcissus. At the heart of every person, from the janitor to the CEO, lies a profound and often unacknowledged self-obsession. Everyone is the hero of their own story. Even the most ostensibly humble leader is secretly in love with their own worldview, their own struggle, their own genius. They crave not just attention, but understanding. They want their reality validated. Most people attempt to connect by showcasing their own reality. I did this. I think that. This is noise. To connect with power, you must become a master mirror. Your role is to reflect their image back to them, but refined, enhanced, and perfected. This goes beyond simple mimicry. It is neurological synchronization. Observe them deeply. Is their speech pattern fast and aggressive? Slightly increase your tempo. Lean forward. Are they slow, deliberate, and thoughtful? Match their cadence. Adopt a more pensive posture. Mirror their breathing rhythm. Adopt their specific vocabulary. If they speak in military metaphors, our campaign, the front lines, you incorporate that language. If they use artistic or athletic analogies, you follow suit. When you do this effectively, you perform a kind of subconscious alchemy. Their brain, constantly seeking patterns of safety and similarity, registers you as same. He is like me. She speaks my language. Therefore, I can trust. Therefore, they are intelligent. You bypass the critical, analytical cortex and speak directly to the older, emotional, reptilian brain where trust is formed. People do not want to be challenged. They want to be confirmed. They do not want a debate partner. They want an echo of their own brilliance, an audience that truly gets it. Be that confirmation. When they look at you, let them see the best, most intelligent, most understood version of themselves staring back. They will become addicted to your presence because you provide a psychological comfort no one else does. The comfort of perfect, effortless self-recognition. Law 6. Become the gatekeeper of information. In antiquity, power was derived from land and armies. In the modern era, it is derived from information. But not just any information, timely, exclusive, actionable intelligence. Powerful people suffer from a paradox. They are at the center of vast networks, yet they are often profoundly isolated. They are surrounded by sycophants who starve for the unfiltered pulse of the world, for the secrets that don't make the official reports. If you can position yourself as a reliable, discreet source of valuable intelligence, you become indispensable. You become their eyes and ears, their intellectual spy. This does not mean being an office gossip. It means being a strategic curator of information. Your offering must be curated and valuable. I heard a rumor about our competitor's new product line that aligns with what you suspected. I was analyzing the latest market data, and there's an anomaly that could represent an opportunity for us. There's a growing sentiment on the ground about X that the reports aren't capturing. The information must protect them, empower them, or give them a critical edge. When you trade in secrets, you elevate your status from outsider to conspirator. There is no bond more potent than one forged in shared, exclusive knowledge. You are now inside the veil. However, a crucial warning accompanies this law: never reveal all your sources. Maintain a monopoly on your intelligence supply chain. If they can get the same information directly from your source, you are rendered obsolete. Keep the methods mysterious. Deliver the precious fruit. Your value is not just in the information itself, but in your unique ability to acquire it. Protect that ability fiercely. Law 7. The law of the useful enemy. Human bonds are forged not only in shared love, but, often more powerfully, in shared hatred. Sociologists term this in-group/out-group bias. We bond deeply with those who despise the same things we despise. It creates an instant us versus them camaraderie. If you wish to create a rapid, deep connection with a powerful person, discover what or whom they hold in contempt. Do they revile bureaucratic inertia? Do they loathe a particular competitor? Do they dismiss a popular industry trend as stupid? Do they harbor a secret disdain for the old guard? Once identified, align yourself with that disdain. Validate their frustration. You know, I've always thought the conventional approach to this was deeply flawed. It's exactly as you said last week. It's built on sand. You are not just agreeing. You are reflecting and validating their entire worldview of struggle against a foolish or malevolent other. By validating their enemies, you validate their heroism. You are saying, I see the dragon you are fighting, and I am here not just to cheer, but to hand you the sword. Be careful to frame this not as petty negativity, but as righteous indignation shared by a discerning few. Create the narrative of us, the enlightened, against them, the blind masses. This forges a cult-like loyalty. In the shared trenches of this ideological or competitive war, deep bonds are formed. You are no longer just an associate. You are a comrade in arms. And there are few relationships as defensive and loyal as those formed in a foxhole, real or imagined. Law 8. Play to their fantasy. Machiavelli understood that people do not live in the cold, hard light of reality. They live in the warm, affirming glow of their fantasies, the idealized versions of themselves. The cutthroat billionaire may fantasize about being a visionary philanthropist. The micromanaging executive may see herself as an empowering coach. The socially awkward tech genius may dream of being a charismatic leader. Your supreme skill is to identify this fantasy and cast yourself in the supporting role that makes it feel real. If they wish to be the wise sage, become the earnest disciple who seeks their wisdom. Ask for their advice on weighty matters, and listen with rapt attention. If they fancy themselves a rebellious innovator, become the loyal lieutenant who helps execute their bold, crazy ideas. If they see themselves as a benevolent protector, be the worthy protege who flourishes under their guidance. Do not, under any circumstances, force them to confront the gap between their fantasy and reality. That is a cardinal sin. Reality is often ugly, insecure, and flawed. That is why they have spent a lifetime building fortresses of wealth and influence to escape it. If you become the one person who consistently affirms their ideal self, who helps them live inside that fantasy, they will cling to you. You become the essential prop in the theater of their self-concept. If you leave, the play collapses, and they are left alone on a dark stage with their unadorned self. This law requires acute perception and the skills of an actor. It sounds manipulative because it is. But remember the arena. We are not discussing friendships of the heart. We are discussing the connection to power. And power has always been, a grand and continuous performance. Learn your lines. Play your part. Secure your position backstage. Law 9. Mastery of emotional alchemy. The landscape of power is a psychological war zone. Powerful people exist in a constant state of high-pressure decision-making, bearing the weight of colossal stakes. Their inner world is a torrent of stress, anxiety, suspicion, and pressure. Most people who interact with them add to this storm. They bring more problems, more drama, more urgent demands, more emotional chaos. To become untouchable, you must become the opposite. You must be the calm in the center of their hurricane. You must master emotional alchemy, the ability to transmute their chaotic, negative energy into clarity and calm. When they are frantic, you are deliberate. When they are angry, you are steady. When they are overwhelmed, you are a pillar. Your goal is to absorb the ambient anxiety and reflect back composed assurance. The three most powerful words you can ever say to a powerful person are, "It is handled." You are not just solving a problem. You are removing a weight from their psyche. You are eliminating a source of cortisol from their system. You become a sanctuary. They will start to crave interactions with you, not necessarily for the business discussed, but for the psychological respite you provide. In your presence, they feel in control, understood, and safe. Their guard drops. In a world of deafening noise, you are silence. In a world of raging fire, you are cool water. This ability to lower another's cortisol levels, to be a source of psychological relief rather than psychological tax, is a skill of immense, non-negotiable value. It makes you a haven, and you can charge a fortune for real estate in a haven. Law 10. Assumed formlessness. Machiavelli praised the fox for its cunning, but its greatest asset is adaptability. Bruce Lee captured the martial essence. Be water, my friend. A rigid shape can be grasped, struck, broken. Water flows, fills, adapts, and withstands. In the realm of power, a rigid ego or identity is a fatal liability. If you insist on being yourself in all situations, your same style, your same communication method, your same posture, you will inevitably clash with those whose styles are different. You create friction. Your survival and ascent depend on formlessness. You must be a social chameleon, able to adapt your presentation to the environment and the person before you. With a formal, old-school banker, you wear the suit. You speak measuredly. You observe protocol. With a Silicon Valley disruptor, you adopt the casual wear, the conversational, jargon-laden speech, the iconoclastic posture. The principle is to remove all unnecessary friction. Make it effortless for the powerful person to assimilate you into their world. The perfect spy does not look like a spy. They look exactly like the native population. Your ability to blend in, to mirror the cultural norms of the circle you wish to enter, is what allows you to get close enough to matter. Do not fight their environment. Flow into it. Formlessness is your ultimate defense. If you have no fixed shape, you cannot be pinned down, predicted, or easily attacked. You can fit through any keyhole to reach the other side. Law 11. Create dependence. This is the apex of Machiavellian strategy, the endgame of connection. Make yourself necessary. If you are replaceable by a simple job posting or a new consultant, you are perpetually insecure. Your value is transactional and fleeting. True power in a relationship comes when you are woven into the very fabric of the other person's success or peace of mind. You must identify a critical function that they either hate doing, cannot do, or cannot do well, and become the absolute master of it. It could be managing a notoriously difficult but vital client. It could be understanding a Byzantine regulatory system. It could be operating a piece of proprietary technology. It could be being the only person who tells them the unvarnished truth. Take ownership of this domain. Become the bridge between them and something they cannot afford to lose. If you are the bridge, they cannot burn you. A critical corollary to this law: never fully document your process or teach them how to do what you do. Keep an element of it esoteric, intuitive, locked in your unique experience. The goal is for your replacement, but to create a reality where the question, "What would we do without your name?" induces a mild panic. You are aiming for mutual entanglement, where your success and theirs are inextricably linked. Once you have achieved this, once they wake in the night with the passing thought, "My God, what would happen if they left?" You have won. You are no longer an employee or a contact. You are an organ, and one does not casually cut out one's own heart. From this position of entrenched necessity, you can negotiate from strength, for you are not asking for a gift. You are discussing the terms of a vital partnership. Law 12. Control the options. The person with the loudest voice in the room is rarely the most powerful. True power lies not in making the choice, but in designing the menu from which the choice is made. When you present options to a powerful person, you must never overwhelm them with infinite possibilities. That induces decision fatigue and paralysis action. Instead, you must curate the choices. This is the art of framing. You present two, or at most three, pathways, and you frame them in such a way that the option you prefer emerges as the most logical, least risky, or most aligned with their stated goals. We have three paths. Option A is fast, but carries reputational risk. Option B is safe, but slow. Option C, which I recommend, balances speed with acceptable risk and aligns with our long-term vision of X. You have done the analytical labor. You have built a road. You then, with deference, allow them to choose the direction. They feel the sovereignty of command, but you have engineered the terrain so that their choice leads precisely where you intended. This is the illusion of control, and it is a gift you give to those above you. They feel like the king making a proclamation. You are the architect who built the only viable throne room. Never ask, "What do you want to do?" That is an abdication of your strategic value. Instead, say, "Based on the objectives, I've developed the following recommended courses of action. My analysis suggests path 2 is strongest." What is your command? You are the strategist. They are the sovereign who authorizes. This dynamic is deeply pleasing to power and entrenches you as the indispensable thinker. Law 13. Radical autonomy. Here we arrive at the final, most paradoxical, and most important law. It is the foundation that makes all the others not just effective, but authentic and powerful. To truly connect with powerful people, you must not need them. This is the core of the void mentioned earlier. If your sense of worth, your financial survival, your emotional validation is dependent on their approval, they will sense it. They will smell the hunger on you. And it smells like neediness. Neediness is the scent of the fan, the supplicant, the piece on the board. True power is only genuinely interested in other centers of power. Therefore, you must cultivate radical autonomy. You must have your own purpose, your own code, your own growing kingdom, even if it is currently small. You must have a vision that exists independently of them. Most crucially, you must possess the genuine, unshakable willingness to walk away from any deal, any relationship that compromises your core or does not meet your standards of value exchange. When you sit across from a titan of industry, you must know, in your marrow, that you will be fine without them. You are not there to take. You are there to trade, to form an alliance between two sovereign entities. This internal shift changes everything about your external presentation. Your voice deepens and steadies. Your eye contact holds without desperation. Your posture loses its fidgety anticipation. You become solid. That solidity is magnetic. Powerful people are surrounded by fluid beings who bend with their every whim. When they encounter someone who is solid, who offers respect without worship, who listens without capitulating, they are intrigued, sometimes disarmed, always fascinated. You become a novelty, a person, not a parasite. Be the rock in their river. Be the sovereign of your own mind. Connect from a place of wholeness, not a place of lack. This is not arrogance. It is the baseline self-possession that commands respect. It makes all the previous laws not tactics of deception, but tools of a confident strategist engaging in a complex dance. The choice before you. Take a breath. Let these laws settle into your understanding. I know the thoughts forming in your mind. This sounds cold, calculating, manipulative, cynical. It is. But now, look up from this text. Look at the world you actually inhabit. Examine the structure of your corporation, your government, the social hierarchies that govern your life. Do you believe these edifices were constructed on a foundation of hugs, transparency, and everyone getting a participation trophy? Or were they built, stone by heavy stone, through strategy, leverage, and understanding of human nature and the ruthless application of will? You stand at a crossroads. You have a choice. You can choose to remain innocent. You can cling to the comfortable, pleasing narrative that the world should be fair, that goodness is always rewarded, that hard work alone is the key. You can stay in the passenger seat of your own life, commenting on the driver's poor navigation, the bumpy road, the unfairness of the traffic. Or you can choose to grab the wheel. Machiavelli was not evil. He was a realist. He gazed into the abyss of human behavior, our fears, our egos, our insatiable need for security and validation, and he did not blink. He reported what he saw with clinical clarity. To use these laws is not to become a monster. It is to develop deeper perception. It is to understand people, their shadows and their light, better than they understand themselves. It is to communicate not just with the mask they wear for the world, but with the hidden, driving forces behind it. When you begin to apply these principles, the world will shift around you. You will stop being invisible. You will cease looking for a savior and realize you are meant to be the strategist. You will understand that the powerful are not gods or demons. They are simply players who learn the rules of the game earlier than you did. And they are, often, waiting for someone with enough insight, enough discipline, enough quiet strength to walk through the door and engage not as a fan, but as a fellow player. That someone is you. The 13 laws are not chains to bind your spirit. They are keys to unlock doors that have been closed to you. But a key is useless without the courage to approach the door and the discipline to turn the lock. This level of psychological and strategic mastery is not a one-time transformation. It is a daily practice. The entire world is designed to lull you back to sleep, to make you compliant, to return you to the herd of predictable pieces. If you refuse, if you choose to stay awake, to sharpen your mind until it can cut through the noise and see the game for what it is, then you must make that choice concrete. Do not just read and nod. Align. Commit. This is your call to arms. If you are ready to move from the sidelines to the chessboard, then you must signal it to yourself, first and foremost. Let this be the line you cross. The community of those who see the strings is small, but it is where the future is drafted. The next step is yours. Demonstrate your commitment to this new path. Engage. Let this be your first act of strategic assertion in a world that has told you to wait your turn. Your turn is now. Seize it. If this resonates with you, if you are ready to stop being a piece and start learning the moves of a player, then you need to surround yourself with this mindset. This channel is a dedicated forge for that transformation. Don't just watch. Subscribe. Every new video is a tactical brief, a deeper layer of understanding. Hit that subscribe button now. Make the contract with yourself. Signal that you are done being a spectator. Do it. Welcome to the inner circle. The game has always been waiting for you. It's time to learn how to play, and then how to win. This knowledge is dangerous in the wrong hands, but powerless if not applied. You have the keys, but will you turn the lock? Your first move is below. Subscribe. Then, let's get to work. The most valuable asset you have is your own untapped potential. It's time to leverage it. Click subscribe. Now, the difference between a pawn and a player is knowledge plus action. You now have the knowledge. The action is simple. Like this video if it shifted your perspective. Share it with one person who needs to see the strings. And most importantly, comment below with the law that struck you most deeply. Your engagement fuels this mission to awaken the strategic minds. Do not be passive. Engage aggressively. Your future self will thank you for this decisive move.